All right. I believe the special guest speaker, the man of the hour, the man I was mentioning, the Michael Jordan of network marketing, I think he's finally been able to get on here and join us. It's been a pleasure going through some training stuff with you guys, giving you some of the announcements. I'm really excited for everything we've got going on up in here with the Extreme Team Project 1000. I'm excited to get on the road and get out and visit all of you guys in the local market. I'm excited for our Sapphire training on January 4th. But more importantly, I'm excited for what we're about to go through right now. And this is some, let's just put out there some kick-ass training with the man, the myth, the legend, Mr. Holton Buggs. Are you there?
Michael, I'm here. Can you hear me?
Loud and clear. Loud and clear.
Wonderful, wonderful, wonderful. Well, thanks so much for hosting and having me on the call today. I'm excited. Apologize for being here at this time. Wanted to be a little earlier, but right now I guess is the best time. So we'll go ahead and get this thing started. Well, I'm excited for everybody who's on the call, everybody who's here listening in right now. It's been an exciting journey. My story of Organo Gold, and my goal on this call really is to go into a little bit of training to give you guys a little of what I was able to do and what I've been able to experience and teach with others who have actually made it in Organo Gold, those who've actually become some of our stars and superstars and diamonds and things of that nature, because I know many of you on the call have those same goals and aspirations. And I'll probably have Michael to even interject at some point during the call so that if there's any questions that he may want to ask on behalf of the group, he can actually do that during the call today. So I'll be very excited to interact, and I can't wait to meet you all. I know we've got a great start that's taking place so far. I was talking to Michael the other day in terms of, how many people been able to place into the organization, and that's been a great start. And I know 2014 is going to be even bigger. And what my job tonight is on this call here is to really share with you how not only to make 2014 huge, but how to close out 2013, how to really leave this year going into the next year, and how to really position yourself so that you can be in the process of achieving your goals. One of the things I want to share is when it comes to goals and really the achievement of goals, it's a very simple approach to it. I have what I call my three-step process to goal achievement, and I'll talk a little bit about that. But I know sometimes that can be intimidating to people. The reason why is sometimes you'll take a look at what you've got. You'll take a look at your business. You'll take a look at what you believe you're good at. And then sometimes what you'll do is you'll compare that to everybody else in the organization. And I know many of you have heard some of the stories of people who got in and it seems like they opened up their Organo Gold kit and out popped a diamond. And because they went diamond so fast or went ruby or emerald so fast. And that's great. And that's some people's story. But you know what? I've been doing Organo Gold. I've been doing networking now for 23 years. And I know many of you have heard of my story, and I know Michael's shared with you my story. But it took me about 18 years to become what I call an overnight success, if you know what I mean. Okay? 18 years to become an overnight success. And so that wasn't my story. I wasn't the person who got involved in networking, and the next thing you know, I just became an overnight success. It didn't happen that way for me. Now, the beauty of it is this, is that because of my experience and because of the failure events that I've actually been able to learn from and endure, you don't have to go through all of what I went through, okay? And you don't have to allow it to last so long. So my failure experience, when I look back on it, could have been short-lived. Had I had someone that I could connect with, had I had someone that was that had my answers and not had all of my same challenges that I could listen to, who was very successful, that I could have hands-on communication with, my time experience in this industry of not making money or not achieving my goals would have been short-lived. It would have been a very short process. And so that's why now I'm always so passionate about making sure people achieve their goals. My experience started back in when I got started in network marketing. I was very fired up. I was excited. I knew that this was what I wanted to do. And I had no idea that this was really a profession at all. I just knew that this was something. When I saw it, I saw the presentation, I had never heard of network marketing. I had never even come close to the concept that I could earn money off of leverage for so little startup costs. And I never forget sitting in that presentation when that gentleman who was a retired pharmacist was giving that presentation. And I never forget walking out of there and the feeling of complete liberation went over me, because I knew that this was something that I could do. This was something that I was going to do. And I was going to dedicate whatever I had to achieving it. Now, you know, the realization of it is my first 7 years after seeing that presentation, I had only put 50 people in my organization. 7 years. I averaged about 7 people per year enrolling into my organization. And here's someone that I wasn't a part-timer or some-timer. I was all the time. I was prospecting daily. Every day I would go out and I'd have 5 quarters in my pocket, my right pocket, and I wouldn't come home until those 5 quarters that were in my right pocket reached my left pocket. And the only way a quarter can leave my right pocket to my left, it was that I prospected one person. And so I went through a process during that time of personal development, self-development, and getting to know me and establishing my foundation as a business person. I went through that process. And going through that process, I didn't know I was going through it. I thought something was wrong with the business at that time. And then when I figured out something wasn't wrong with the business, you know, I thought something was wrong with me. And then when I figured out and went to some courses, nothing was wrong with me, I started blaming my upline. And then I blamed the business, and I blamed the economy. And all it was I was going through a process. You know, I can't say that I was 100% to blame for it, but I can tell you that the answer lied within me, and that's where I had to get myself developed. And after those 7 years, or during those 7 years, what I was doing was I was being around, making sure that I was on, at that time we weren't having conference calls, but I was making sure I was associating very strongly with the people that were successful in the business. Anytime there was an event that I qualified to attend, I always attended it. And in 23 years to this day, I've never missed an event that I qualified to attend in 23 years. And I developed a very strong appetite for self-improvement and for improving myself and for bettering myself, so that I know that if I better myself, then I could be more valuable. If I am more valuable, then I'll bring more value. If I bring more value, then I would actually earn more money. And in the beginning, I thought that if I just did the work, I would earn more money. And it wasn't that way. I had to become a valuable person. Okay, I had to become a valuable person. It's no different than if you take a car. Let's just say you take a Toyota Prius, and you put it in a Grand Prix. Well, and you drive around. Well, just the act of driving around will not earn any significance or earn any money or earn any awards, just because you're on the track and you're going as fast as you can go. Well, because that car has no value on the track. It has no value on the track. You've got to make sure that you put something in the race that has value. Okay, and then once you do that and you go around the track, that's when you're going to start winning awards. So I had to bring value to Holton Buggs first. Bring value to me first as a business person. I received an email yesterday from a young lady. Well, actually, it was a Facebook message that I received. And some of you who, if you saw my Facebook post yesterday or my Instagram, my son just took a little 15-second video of me picking up, buying a new car, going in, paying for it, and leaving out. No words, no music, no nothing, because all of the action kind of spoke for itself. It was just one of my dream cars. And my caption on there was, it took 9 months to make this car, 8 minutes to finish the transaction, but 23 years of dreaming about this moment for it to manifest. And what most people don't look at is the 23 years. Well, I had a young lady who saw that post, and she sent me a Facebook message, and she says, you should be thanking me for that car you got, because I started in this business, and I met you in Atlanta, and I have no idea who she is, but she says she met me in Atlanta, and she says, I paid my $200 to get involved, and I have gone door to door, I've gone office to office, I've done everything, and I still haven't sold any coffee whatsoever. And it's people like me who allow you to drive, you know, a Rolls Royce. So you should be thanking me, because you told me that if I go out and build this business, that I can turn my dreams, I can have my dreams come true. And she also mentioned that she's done everything that I told her to do, that I said from stage. She's done everything, every single thing. And I read that message, and I had a little bit of sympathy for her, and the reason why, and I didn't get offended because that was me, 20 years ago, 23 years ago. That was me thinking that just because I went through the motions that I was supposed to have success. Now, she mentioned that she did everything that I told her to do, but also many of the things that I talked about was reading books, listening to tapes, positive association. And by the tone of her message, I can tell that she hadn't done that. I can tell that she hadn't brought value to herself. So basically what she did is she just repetitively went out with the same person who has no value. She didn't improve the quality of who she was, or improve the quality of her presentation, or follow any part of the system. She went through the motions, thought that if she go out and put herself in front of people, she's going to get rich or make some money. And it didn't happen that way. And so now obviously somebody else has to be to blame for that. Well, I want to remove that from people within the organization, and I want them to understand what did I do? What were some of the things that I did? Well, as I mentioned, through the process of me developing myself, I got on a very strong reading program, a very strong tape listening program. Back then it was cassette tapes that I used to listen to. It wasn't any CDs or iPods when I was really coming up in this industry. But I was very heavy into my personal growth. Now, I want you to understand something. Personal growth does not guarantee success. Personal growth just brings value or increases your value. That's all it does. It increases your value. But when you increase your value of yourself and you go out and present yourself, you're presenting more value. And as you present more value within the system, you should be able to increase your earnings and achieve and accomplish your goals. Okay? So personal growth is one step to it. And the reason I say that is because I never want people to think just because you read 100 books doesn't mean that you're going to make $100,000. Okay? It doesn't. It just means that you can be a very, educated or a very speedy reader who still gets mediocre results. Okay? But personal growth is a very important component of it. Okay? So that was some of the things that I had done. Once I started to realize that I was in control of my results, that's when I gained what I call power. Okay? And it wasn't power over anybody else. It was power over my own thoughts, power over my own results. And I no longer, from that point on, looked anywhere else for results. I knew that I could do whatever it was that I wanted to accomplish. I knew that anything that I really had set my mind to, that I put in the right time frame, the right parameters, I knew that it was accomplishable. And I figured out later on, okay, well, what's going to be the time frame for me to achieve these particular goals? But more importantly, what I did is I was able to manage my expectations. I was able to manage the expectations. And managing your expectations is critical. It's very, very critical. And the reason I say that is this, is because when you get involved in this business and you do a wrong assessment of the value that you have, sometimes your result goals or your goals that you have can be off. And so let's just say, for example, on a scale of 1 to 10, you believe that your value is a 9 when your value is actually a 3. And I'm not the one to judge what that value is. You've got to be the one to do that. Okay? And let's just say that you set goals, but you set goals and say, hey, I'm going to be a diamond in 90 days or 6 months. And we say, listen, you know what, in terms of the value that you have as a self-assessed person, it requires a value of at least a 9 to 10 to become a diamond in 6 months. So what happens is you believe your value is a 9, so therefore you set your goals. You say, I'm going to go diamond in 6 months. And what happens is it doesn't happen because you're mismanaging your expectations, because really at that time your value really was a 3. Okay? Your value was a 3. And so when you go 6 months and it doesn't happen, what happens is disappointment sets in. Okay? And so what I want to do is I want to share with you how to really manage the expectations. I believe any goal that you set is possible. I'm not one of these people who say, you know what, that I'm going to go crown in 12 months. Well, is it possible? Yes, it is possible. But through the management of expectations process, is it probable? What's the probability of you getting it done? Okay. Well, the probability is very, 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 very low. And so I deal with probability, okay, and that's by doing a self-assessment, managing the expectations, understanding the value, and setting a goal within the proper time frames. And that's where counseling comes into play. That's where making sure that you're consistently in contact with your upline. You know, Michael, and myself and Kyle, when Michael got started, you know, he was on the phone with Kyle and myself, and we managed expectations. And I didn't say, Michael, listen, you know what? You should do a certain amount of volume, and it was this crazy amount of volume just because you have a certain number of years of experience. We set something that he thought was believable, and I asked him some questions, and then we set some particular targets. And guess what? The first target we set, he was able to accomplish it. But what I tell you is this: when you set small goals that are measurable and that they're accomplishable, what happens is you start to believe a little bit more, and your belief muscle starts to grow. As your belief muscle starts to grow, what happens is you get more confidence. And when you get more confidence, you start to bring more value. When you bring more value, guess what happens? Everything that I just mentioned, and that is your income starts to go up. Okay? And so in the beginning, you may set some small goals. I'm going to share a small goal that everybody on this phone should aspire to accomplish. It's something that everybody could do. Okay? And then I'm going to give you a second goal of what to accomplish. And when you learn these two things that I'm going to talk about, I certainly believe when you start to put everything together and improve a little bit more of your value, become a person of high value, I believe you can actually earn whatever it is that you choose to earn. Then what we have to do then is put time frames on it. And what we have to do is put the time frames on it. And so that's what's really, 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 really important. You know, one of the goals that I set, just to kind of give you an example, I set a goal early on in OG to capture 1% of the coffee industry. 1% of the coffee industry. And when I set that goal, it was measurable for me. I looked and found out what it was, and I knew that it was about $125 million a month in coffee sales. Okay? And I set that goal for 5 years. And guess what? We didn't even accomplish it. We didn't hit it. Okay? And so I reset the goal. I reset that particular goal. Now, what I also did was this. I also set some goals in terms of the amount of distributors that we were going to have in the organization. I set some goals that were income goals for myself personally. I set goals for the number of people that I would help become six-figure and seven-figure earners. I was able to do all of those things, and guess what? The majority of my goals, I have actually failed at accomplishing them within the time frames that I set. But I continue to do it. Some I was very close. Some I was a little off. Okay? But I can tell you this. I also set a goal most recently. Most recently, I set a goal that you guys are a part of, and this is very important here. Most recently, I set a goal that I drew a line in the sand. OrganoGold had gotten to a place where we were obviously well over 100 million, well over 200, well over $300 million in revenue. And I looked and found that, you know what, for us, it took us 3 years to do our first $100 million in 1 year. 3 years in OrganoGold to do that. Okay. 3 years. Now, within that 3 year period of time, at the beginning, there was nothing here. There was no infrastructure. There was no branding. There was no marketing materials. There were very little things that showed evidence. As a matter of fact, people used to recruit against us, saying that our product wasn't real, that we didn't even have an office. They would actually take one of the boxes that we had of our coffee and type in the address, and if you Googled the address, it was our attorney's office in Las Vegas, but there was this big open field next to it, and if you Google mapped it, you would see this big open field, and people would actually laugh and say, oh, look, OrganoGold really doesn't exist. Okay. That was how we got there. We didn't have customer service for our first 6 months. Okay. All the rumors were there that we were going to fail, that we ran out of money, that we had no Ganoderma in our coffee, that our capsules was just full of powder. Okay. And you know what? Some people actually believed it. People who had amazing results from the product, when somebody else influenced them and told them that, they said, listen, there's no Ganoderma in this product. Well, and I would say, well, didn't you tell me that your blood pressure is now down from what it used to be? But those are the issues that we had back then. Why? Because there was no evidence. There was no office. Now we've got 11 offices around the world that we have. We got our headquarters in Vancouver. We're building another headquarters in Hong Kong right now that will be our world international headquarters. Our partner that we have an exclusive relationship with as a $240 million endowment for the development of the highest quality Ganoderma that's out there. Okay. Now, when people look and say, okay, well, is our product real? Okay. Well, our company, our Ganoderma that we have, okay, and the facilities that we have, they're actually the standard by which all Ganoderma is actually graded. Okay. That's the standard. They use the facilities that our stuff is processed through. That our facilities are used there, and so, but we didn't have that in the beginning. We didn't have any of that evidence, okay? And that's the same product that we were using in the very, 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 very beginning. And so there were so many challenges that we went through, and so many of the rumor mills that we went through when we first started making money. I never forget, people would say, "Oh, it's not real. Those guys are printing those checks," because we used to get paid on checks. They're printing their own checks. And then we start making more money, and we start getting paid on debit cards, so there was no more checks. People would say, well, you know what? This company, these guys are not real. Holton Buggs has a fake back office. They give him a back office and he can produce the numbers that he wants to produce. And then what happened is we start producing other top earners, many other top earners. We had all of these six-figure earners, and then we start getting these people who were making $10,000, $20,000, $30,000, $40,000, $50,000 a month later on. And then the rumor became, well, they got in early. And so what I realized is this, is that every time you start to dream really big, and I want you to understand this, every time you dream real big, you're always going to have what we call valid opposition against you. If there's nobody challenging your belief and challenging who you are, then that means you're probably not dreaming big enough. But we got it. There's almost every rumor that I could imagine. Okay, I'd never forget when I came to Organo Gold, they labeled me, they said, hey, he's a company jumper. Well, it's 23 years, and I've been involved in Organo Gold is my sixth company. Okay, my sixth company. And every other company that I was a part of, that I was a part of before, outside of my very first, which is Amway, all of those companies went out of business. Okay, all of them went out of business. But it was just a rumor mill. And at first I didn't understand it. At first I was saddened by it. At first I was confused as to why would people say these things that are not true. And then I learned. This is what I learned. I learned it from Nick Saban. Many of you probably know or may know of Nick Saban or may not know of Nick Saban. Nick Saban is the head coach for the Alabama Crimson Tide football team. Okay, he's right now arguably the best coach in all of football, period. Okay. He had 2 back-to-back championships, was on his way to a third one, and then they lost their game to Auburn this year. Okay, he's the highest-paid coach that's out there. He just renegotiated his contract for $7.5 million per year, a college coach. Okay, a college coach. And there's no NFL coaches that I know of who get paid that amount. Well, this is when I learned that it was okay. This is when I learned that I was on the right track. Nick Saban used to coach for a university called LSU, Louisiana State University. Well, Louisiana State University and Alabama, they're within the same conference. So when he left LSU and went to Alabama, okay, they were outraged. The people at LSU, they loved Nick Saban. They loved him. And as soon as he made a decision that was contrary to the decision of the people of LSU, he now became an enemy. Now, he had done nothing. He had brought them a national championship at LSU. He had their program now recognized all over the world as one of the premier programs in the world, in America. And as soon as he says, hey, listen, I want to improve my future by going to Alabama, he was ostracized. He was criticized. And now what happened was this. They had an opportunity where Alabama was actually coming to LSU to play a football game. Now, he's going back to his old school, and I never forget watching this. They had crosses burning with statues of Nick Saban on there. This was the highest requirement for security that they had ever had in the history of college football. And then they interviewed Nick Saban prior to the game. One day before the game, they interviewed him. And they said, Nick Saban, listen, you've got kids and you've got a wife and you've got a family and you guys have had death threats. People are calling your house and they're doing all kinds of things. They're saying that all of these horrible things they're saying about you. And how does it make you feel? Does your family feel safe? And Nick Saban says, hey, my family is completely safe. He says, I feel fine. He said, it doesn't even faze me anymore. And I'm sitting there wondering, why would he say this? And he says, because I now understand what it is. And she said, well, what is it, Nick Saban? What is it? Why do they hate you so much? He said, they don't hate me. He says, they are fearful that now they have to compete against me. And he says, that's the only thing that it is. He says, because had I been an LSU Tiger, the same people who are burning crosses would be cheering me on. But they're now afraid to compete against me. And that's when I understood that things that people would say, the criticism and all of that was taking place during this time that I was here at Organo Gold in the beginning. That's when I realized it's okay. It must mean that they're fearful. It must mean that they've got to say things to me about me because that they are fearful. You're going to experience some of the exact same thing when you start to chase a big goal. What goal did I set recently that you guys are a part of? See, I set a goal recently, and it was my $100 million a year plan. As I told you, all of those things took place before we had our $100 million, before we did $100 million in 1 year. All of those things that I just mentioned, there's many other things that I can tell you that were going against us in Organo Gold. I'm so grateful that my ears are not so good, that I didn't listen to them. I'm so grateful my hearing just wasn't attracted to what the rumors were. Right? Because I knew what we were doing. I know what our product was. I knew the income that our people were making. I knew the integrity with which our product was actually developed, and I knew the leadership here, and I knew it firsthand. I didn't have to hear from somebody who wasn't a part of it. I knew it firsthand. And what happened was this: we grew, and then we grew to $300 million. This year we'll do close to $400 million in 1 year. And so now many of the naysayers, when it comes to myself and several, they don't say anything anymore. Why? Because they realize that we didn't listen to them. And I set another goal. I set a goal, ladies and gentlemen, of a $100 million plan. I drew a line in the sand and I said, you know what? We now have evidence. Nobody can say anything about Organo Gold now. You can't say our coffee is not great coffee. You can't say we're going to run out of product. We've done almost $1 billion worth of sales. Okay? Now, you can't say that our branding or our we don't have an office or a location. We've got 11 around the world. Okay? You can't say people are not making money. We've got dozens of people who are six-figure monthly earners in our company. We've got the top earners worldwide in network marketing. And our top earners, the majority of them, 95% of them, have never been even an average earner in another company. Never. So there's nothing to say now. So that means that we've got so much strength on Organo Gold's side. I set another goal. I set a personal goal. You guys are a part of it. This is why I connected with Kyle. This is why I connected with Michael. This is why I connected with several of the other people, that are part of what we're doing. This is why some of the people that are stepping up right now, okay, Steve and Sarah and Peter and Doreen, these people who are stepping up, these people are major parts of what we're doing right now. And that $100 million goal was this. I drew a line in the sand and I said, what I am going to do is I have an organization right now that will undoubtedly be a multi-billion-dollar organization. And that's good. But that doesn't challenge me anymore. I say, what I'm going to do is I'm going to start from scratch. I'm going to start sponsoring new people. Okay? And I'm only going to take 3 legs of business that I currently have, and they're not going to use their same organization, but we're going to form a pact. We're going to form an alliance, and we're going to build, outside of what we already have, a $100 million organization, but we're going to do it in 18 months. What took us 3 years to do is what we're now going to do in 18 months. 18 months. Now, it didn't mean that we were not going to be, working with the people that we already have. No, it just meant that we were now saying, you know what, it's much better than it used to be. I can do it in half the time. Okay, it took us 3 years, but because see now nobody can step to you and say Organo Gold doesn't work. Nobody can call you up and say, this comp plan doesn't work. The company's not paying people. People getting checks late, and nobody can say that. They can say it, but you've experienced it already. Those of you who've who created commission checks, they've gotten them already. Okay, I'm sure you ask Anna, ask Steve, okay, ask Sarah, ask Peter, ask Doreen. I'm sure they've gotten commission checks already. Taste the product. I'm sure they've already tasted the capsules or used the capsules. I'm sure they have customers already. So all those rumors, nobody can say any of that anymore. So what if we're starting now with a company that's going to do $400 million, that's got 11 offices around the world, that's got the top leadership, top earners, top 5 earners out of the top 10, 5 of the top earners in the world are in this company. Now you're bulletproof. Now you've got ammunition. Now you've got what I didn't have when I got started, okay? And I'm so passionate about this goal, okay? About this goal. And so my goal is huge. Your goal doesn't have to be this $100 million. But remember, I didn't have this goal in the very beginning. But because I set some small goals and I hit them, and I set small goals and I missed them, and I set a few more and I hit them, then I set some more and I missed them, and I missed some more and I missed some more, and I readjusted those goals and I hit a few, I got confidence. I got confidence. Now there's nobody in the world who can tell me anything about my goals. You can't tell me that I'm not going to accomplish an organo goal, what I'm going to accomplish. You can't tell me this is not the best opportunity in the world. Okay? It's just not possible. And so you guys are a part of that. My reasoning for being on this phone right now is because I know I've got to reach down and work with people who are not diamonds. I've got to work with people who are not even emeralds and rubies. I've got to work with brand new people, develop the relationships with them that I developed with the people who are now millionaires in Organo Gold. I've got to do it again. The only difference is this: those that understand and those that move with full force will hit their goals in half the time that we did. It took us 3 years to hit the $100 million mark when I got started because we had nothing. We had so many obstacles. We're going to get it done in 18 months. This leg of business here is a part of those 3 legs that I have, plus the other people that I've enrolled into the company. You guys are part of that $100 million plan. Okay? You're part of that. The beauty of it is this here. Guess what? The people who were here before you, they can't even say that they're part of my $100 million plan. You can say it. I've got crown ambassadors in my organization that their volume, they're not included in this $100 million plan because I started brand new, started with new people. Okay? 2014 is going to be a year of extreme work for me. I've laying out my calendar, and I'm going to be in the field like crazy in 2014. Why? Because I'm passionate about my goals, and I'm passionate about accomplishing those goals. January, I'll kick it off. First, I'll be in Mexico, and I'll be in Florida as well in January. And February the 8th, I'm going to be in Canada, and I know that many of the people on this call are right there in Canada. I'm going to be in Montreal. There's going to be a major event, and I haven't been to Canada in maybe 2.5 years to build a business. Okay, and Shane Moran, myself, you're going to have the top 2 earners in the entire world that's going to be giving the training. Now, those of you who are on the line right now, there's no way in the world I'd miss that training. Okay, specifically, if you're in Canada, there's no way in the world. I don't care which part of Canada you're in. There's no way in the world I would miss that training. Okay. Just to give you an idea, in terms of a Super Saturday, the last time Shane Moran and myself did a Super Saturday together was 3 years ago. 3 years ago, we weren't considered the top in the world. 3 years ago. Okay. And so now you're going to have Shane Moran, Holton Buggs, all in one room. I can tell you the people in Montreal, they're going absolutely berserk. Okay. When they found out that I was actually going to be coming, and I'm so glad to come. Because that's a stop that's going to help us accomplish our goals as well. Right? That's a huge one. And so the thing I strongly recognize is do whatever you've got to do. Sell as much coffee, build your dual team, build your organization, do whatever it is that you've got to do to go out there and make it happen. Okay? Do whatever it is that you've got to do to go out there and make it happen. To be at that event. I want to share one other thing with you in terms of opportunity. Okay? Because I know the numbers. I see the numbers. I know the numbers, and the numbers are real. When I look at market penetration of what we have in Organo Gold today, we've touched nothing. Just to give you guys an idea, in Canada alone, where our headquarters is in Vancouver. In Canada alone, I believe we only have 5 diamonds in the entire country of Canada. 5 diamonds. Okay, we've got one black diamond, we've got one blue diamond. Let's see here, and I think 2 other diamonds. So that's 4 diamonds. Okay. Okay. Yeah, and we've got $2 million earners. Okay, that are there, and I think one other blue diamond that just moved there, who wasn't from Canada but was from Mexico, and who just moved there, but has no organization there. In Canada alone, just to give you an idea, in Canada alone, ladies and gentlemen, we're not even doing $3 million a month in sales in Canada. We're not even doing $2 million a month in sales in Canada. And so people say, hey, listen, how's the business in Canada? It's wide open. Why do you think I'm coming there? Okay. My other market that I'm really focused on is the United States. People say, well, hold on for a second. Isn't the United States, kind of taken? Of course not. It's wide open. There's only 23 states that we have that have diamonds. 23 states in the United States that have diamonds in them. Okay. And so when you look up at the Northeast, there's no diamonds there. We don't have a diamond in Detroit. We don't have any diamonds in Ohio. We don't have any diamonds in New Hampshire. We don't have any diamonds in Iowa. We have no diamonds. We've got 1 diamond in Pennsylvania. No diamonds in Washington, D.C. No diamonds in Virginia whatsoever. And most of these places that I'm saying we don't have diamonds, we don't even have emeralds there. We've got no diamonds in Tennessee, no diamonds in Louisiana, which is the neighboring state to Texas. We have no diamonds in Alabama. We have no diamonds in Arkansas, no diamonds in Utah. We have no diamonds in New Mexico. We have no diamonds in Vegas. We have no diamonds in Arizona. All over the place. I'm talking about states with huge populations, no diamonds. But what happens is the success story of organogold is so huge and it happens so fast, people tend to think that, oh, it's already done. Let me share a little quick story with you right now. I want to share something with you that I want you really to understand. Right now, one of the fastest growing companies in the world is a company called Amway. It is the only company today that has diamonds in every single state, every country that they're represented in, they have diamonds. But they grew this year, $900 million in increase. Why? Because they didn't believe saturation was possible. Okay? They didn't believe it either. Now, most of us on this call, we would say, oh, that company's 50 years old, it's saturated. Well, why are they growing $900 million? Because the leaders didn't buy into it. Ladies and gentlemen, goals and achievement of your goals has everything to do with your leadership and your own value, your own self-assessment, the value that you're going to bring to the marketplace. Okay? Value that you're going to bring to the marketplace. Okay? And so what I do is this here. When I look at how I got started in organogold, see, remember, organogold was my 6th company. And I'll never forget when people were asking me, Holton, are you going to call some of the people who you were with in the last company or people that you knew of before? And I said, absolutely, I'll let them know. Those who I personally enrolled and friends, yeah. Because I'm not a person, I never looked at myself as a company dumper. And what I realized this is the people, when they enrolled, I realized that they didn't sign up in a company. They enrolled with me. That's how I built my business. I built friendships. I don't join companies. I build alliances. I don't build companies. I build alliances. And so when I build an alliance with a friend, when I build an alliance with Mike, okay, and I build an alliance, with those of you who are on this phone, my goal is to build a friendship. Okay. And as long as we keep our friendship very strong, we'll always have the opportunity to do business together. But what I realize is this, is that sometimes companies maybe didn't work out. Maybe I didn't hit my goal there, or maybe we find out that there was some chink in the armor. And that's what has happened with a couple of companies that I was a part of. That some of the things weren't just right. And I'm not talking bad or down about those companies. It's just a realization of what took place. And when those things took place, you know what? I told a couple of my buddies, hey, listen, I have to make a different business choice. And some of them say, hey, Holton, listen, I joined this business, for my family. And I recognize some of the same challenges. And so, hey, listen, if you found something that's there, I'm with you. And I called up a couple of people, and I never talked bad about where I was before. I just told them that I found something else that I believe I'm going to be able to accomplish my goals much faster. And guess what? We did it. I did it. When you look at, it's the same thing. You look at some of the hockey coaches in the National Hockey League. Okay? And what happens is sometimes, you know what? they don't get fired. Sometimes they find a better opportunity for their family. And sometimes they take their assistant coaches with them. Okay? But I can tell you this, they always let their assistant coaches know if there is availability for them, hey, listen, you know what, I've got room for you over here with a new opportunity for us. And so I called the people, and what I figured is this, is that some of the people that I talked to, they were more resilient than I gave them credit for, because I thought that they were actually judging me. Okay? I thought that they were actually saying, you know, okay, well, here's Holton, he's calling me again, or blah, 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 whatever it was. I never called them to put pressure on them. I called them because I was excited. See, Organo Gold, people ask me, how was Organo Gold your biggest success? It is the first company, ladies and gentlemen. 18 years I have been in the industry prior to joining Organo Gold. It was the very first company that I called every single person that I had in my Rolodex. I had never done that before because I had prejudged people. I had actually, you know, allowed my thoughts of whether a person would want to do something or not get in and cloud my judgment. Okay? And guess what? It wasn't fair to them. That wasn't fair to them. And you know what? There was nobody that I called, nobody that I remember calling who was upset that I had actually given them a call. Nobody. Now, some of them didn't choose to come along with me. 70% of the people chose not to join me. But it's okay. But we built what we built off of succeeding only 30% of the time. But I wonder what would have happened had I failed to say, you know what, I'm going to make this phone call. I'm going to call this person. I believe in this opportunity. I have found what I've been looking for all my life. And if I had not called Edwin Haynes, where would he be today? You know, if I had not called John Securus, where would he be? And Jose Ardon, where would he be today? If I had not called L.G. Young, the gentleman who was living in a U-Haul trailer, okay, and he was doing network marketing with me before, never made any money, but I called him anyway. Had no idea how bad he was doing at that time. We hadn't connected for a while. I called him anyway. And today, ladies and gentlemen, he's a $500,000 earner with Organo Gold. He was living in a U-Haul trailer when I called him, and he was basically homeless. Okay? He was actually homeless. And so I have zero regrets whatsoever about making the phone calls. And those of you on this call, the thing I share with you is this. You really want to be a major part of that $100 million plan? Make your phone calls. Okay? Make your phone calls, because I can tell you right now, this is when they'll be upset with you. When you go out and succeed or have success, or somebody else that they know of, and then they realize you never called them. You never told them about what you believed in. Now, if you have no belief, you shouldn't call anybody. If you're still curious as to whether it'll work or not, you shouldn't get involved, or you shouldn't call anybody. Okay? But all of the excuses have been removed. All of them have been removed. And everything, all of the evidence is here. All of the evidence is here for you. And you can make it happen. Okay? You can definitely make it happen in Organo Gold. Okay? And so what I want you to do is go out there and make it happen. You know, I told you I'd give you a couple of goals. Let me share with you some of the things that you probably heard on the Sunday Night Millionaire call. You've heard me talk about what's called Star Achiever. Okay? Star Achiever. Star Achiever is something that's very important. As a matter of fact, Star Achiever is going to be something that's important to participate in one of the leadership exercises that we're going to do in February when I come to Canada. Star Achievers is when you go out and you build yourself $450 of personal qualifying volume. Okay? Personal qualifying volume, simply meaning that the volume that you generate within your own circle. What we recommend is do it with at least 10 customers. Get yourself 10 serviceable customers, people that will buy every month. The average person will buy 2 boxes of product if you present it and sample it the way that we teach you to do that. Okay? Now, including your other sampling, your own personal use, 450 is very easy to do. It's very easy to do. Okay? Now, what I do recognize for a person who's saying, I want to build a network, it is almost impossible to build the business through our system without going through a case of product per month. Now, does that mean that you're buying a case a month? No, it means that you're selling or moving a case. It costs you absolutely nothing. When you're getting a person started, you always hear us say, hey, listen, make sure that you sell them the first 2 boxes of coffee. It costs you nothing. You sell it to them at wholesale. Your retail customers, you're making money from it. The only thing that will cost you, okay, or that you don't make any money back from, will be the coffee that you consume for yourself. Okay? But any other coffee that you are sampling, obviously when you get customers, the profit you made for that paid for your samples. So 450 should be something that's very simple. When you do that, you become what we call a star achiever. Organo Gold is a new program that we just released in November. Star Achievers, where you'll receive a button, a real nice pin, not a button, but a pin that will have Star Achiever on it. Now, with your first month that you do it, it'll have Star Achiever 1. The second month that you do it, consecutive, it'll have Star Achiever 2. And every month you'll receive a new pin. Now, let's just say you get up to Star Achiever 4, but Star Achiever 5, the fifth month, let's say you only do 400. You know what happens? You fall off, and you've got to go all the way back to the end of the line and start all over again, and you got to do 4 more consecutive months before you get your fifth pin, or five consecutive months. So it will take you 9 months to get your Star Achiever 5 pin instead of 5 months. Okay? And so what we're going to recognize, we're recognizing Star Achiever. First goal, make sure that you get qualified. Get one on your left, one on your right, 10 customers, and become a Star Achiever. That's the first thing that I'm going to tell you that you need to do. Many of you, all of you on this call, you can get that done right away. Okay? That's a personal goal, a personal effort that you'll place in. The second is what we call Superstar. Okay? Superstar. Superstars are the ones that I'm building with. Superstars are the people that I'm in the trenches with. A superstar will have special privileges, things such as preferred seating. When I come to Canada, they'll have preferred seating. There'll be special leadership trainings that we'll have. A superstar is a Star Achiever that has a minimum of 4 personally enrolled stars. That means that you're a star and you've got 4 legs that you personally enrolled who are also stars. Okay? And guess what? You're now what we call a superstar. A superstar. So just imagine if you're a star and you've got 7 superstars in your organization, you are now a sapphire. And that's just on auto ship. That's on reoccurring volume. That's on customer reoccurring volume. Wouldn't it be awesome to have a car payment paid just because you've got 7 people who decide to become superstars? You're now a sapphire. Okay? And so that's how it works. Just imagine getting 14 superstars in your total organization, not total that you personally sponsor, total organization. With the other volume that you'll have, you're qualifying over Ruby volume with 14 superstars within your organization. And so I don't want you to set the goal for just Sapphire, Ruby, Emerald, or Diamond. I want you to set the goal for the structure that is required to achieve that goal. Okay? Because I don't want you to go out and just hit the pin one time. I want you to achieve a pin, and I want that pin to come over and over and over and over and over. And the best way to do it, ladies and gentlemen, is when you've got reoccurring volume going through your organization. Okay? I can tell you, Kyle and Michael are 2 people that are extremely passionate about making sure that this group is a major participant in that $100 million plan. Okay? That $100 million plan it's a major. They're majorly excited about that, and you guys should be excited about it as well. Okay, you should be excited about it, and I'm excited to be working with you guys. I'm excited to be leading your team, doing calls for you. There'll be more calls that we'll be putting in place, and I want you to pack those out. The thing I want you to do is I want you to operate as if you couldn't fail. I want you to just try that I want you to try for 30 days. 30 days, I want you to operate as if failure could not even happen. See, if you operated where failure couldn't happen, you're operating from 100% confidence, which means that your achievement level will be superior. But when you operate with a small degree of belief, which means that you believe failure is inevitable, what happens is you don't even want to take the steps to achieve or do anything. And I can tell you, major achievement happens when people, they don't care. They never look at the possibility of failure. They only focus on the possibility of success. But ladies and gentlemen, what I've learned in 23 years of networking is that you can't focus on both. Okay? And every time I failed, I noticed that the majority of my thought process had been around failure. The times that I succeeded, the times that I've won, my focus and the majority of my thought process has been on the prize. What it's going to be like to get that prize. What it's going to be like to achieve that goal. And that's where I want you guys living. I want you living in the realm of the level of achievement, living in the realm of possibility, living in the realm of success, not living in the realm of failure. So, Michael, I want to thank you again for having me on this call and being able to talk with many of the people on this call here. And I'm excited to meet those of you who will be in Canada that I'll see there. Go out there, become your star first. Go out there, become a superstar. I mean, many of you can become a superstar this month, in the month of December. Do your 450, get your customers, and sponsor 4 people, or have 4 of the people that you already sponsor become a star achiever, and you become a superstar. And I can tell you, when we have the superstar leadership training, okay, we're gonna unleash some information. 2 of the top networkers in the world are going to unleash some information that we know for a fact will take you to the next level. So with that, I'm very appreciative and grateful to have been able to train and share my story on this call. And as we say all the time, it's easy, it's simple, it's coffee. Michael, I'm going to pass it back on to you.
Thank you, Mr. Buggs. We appreciate everything. I got one quick question for you. Where would we be able to find information out about this February 8th event? Because I know the buses are warming up, and we can't wait to pack it out.
All right. You know what? It's not posted yet. I just let the cat out of the bag a little early. What we will do is we'll have it posted. I know it will be posted no later than the first of the year. And where people will be able to go out and get their tickets. And I don't think it's no more than $25 or $30 for that training.
That's exciting. You know what? There's 4 or 5 diamonds in Canada, and I know there's probably 40, 45, or 50 people listening here tonight, and that means there's at least 20 or 30 more that are shooting for diamond this year here in Canada alone. So I'm excited. I appreciate everything you've done here tonight. It's been an amazing, exciting call. I know a couple of people sent me questions on Facebook, and my Facebook actually kicked me out with the conference system up here, so haven't been able to check that. But Mr. Buggs, we appreciate everything. We love you, and can't wait to meet you in person.
Absolutely. Thanks a lot. Appreciate you guys, and I'll see you at the top.
Thanks very much. Ladies and gentlemen, that's a wrap for our call tonight. Definitely, you know what, if you had anybody that should have been on here listening, this call, I've actually been able to record it, and if you just want to contact me personally, I'd be more than happy to get you the link to be able to listen to the recording. There was a lot of nuggets on this call and a lot of great information. I think everybody can agree that we're at the right place at the right time, and I'm excited. Let's go Project 1000. Let's see everybody at the top. Thanks, and have a good night.